Have you ever felt torn between being true to yourself and staying loyal to your family? If so, you are not alone. For many people, one of the most difficult challenges in life is recognizing the difference between love and control. And the reason it's so difficult is because control doesn't always arrive looking like control. Sometimes it arrives looking like concern. It may sound like advice, or it appears as protection. And sometimes it comes from people who genuinely love us. That's what makes this conversation so important. Because when family love becomes intertwined with fear, expectations, or the need to maintain the status quo, it can quietly become something else. It can become control. Now, before we go any further, I want to say something that's very important. Most families are not intentionally trying to harm one another. Most parents, siblings, grandparents, aunts, uncles, cousins, other relatives are doing the best they can with the awareness they have. Many controlling behaviors begin with good intentions. The desire to protect, the desire to prevent pain, the desire to keep someone safe, the desire to help. But good intentions do not always produce healthy outcomes. Sometimes what begins as protection becomes limitation. And sometimes what begins as love becomes control. Control often sounds like any one of these statements or questions. Are you sure that's a good idea? Or maybe you've heard, why would you want to do that? Or perhaps you've heard, nobody in this family has ever done that before. Or you should be grateful for what you already have. Or how about, that's not realistic? And you're making a mistake. And sometimes the words are not even spoken. Sometimes the message is communicated through silence, withdrawal, a disapproving glance, guilt, or subtle emotional pressure. The difficult part is that many people never question these messages. They assume that because the message comes from family, it must be true. But family members are human. They have fears, they have beliefs, they have limitations, and, very important, they have unresolved experiences that influence how they see the world. And sometimes what they are reacting to, they're not reacting to your decision. They're reacting to their discomfort around your decision. They are reacting to how they feel about your decision. Think about that for a moment. Sometimes people are not afraid for you. They are afraid of what your growth means for them. Because every family develops a kind of emotional balance, everyone has a role. The caretaker, the responsible one, the peacemaker, the helper, the rebel, the one who's always making mistakes, the one who's always staying close, the one who never comes by, the one who never causes trouble, etc., etc. Everyone has their role in the play of the human family drama. And when someone begins to grow beyond their assigned role, the entire system feels the change. Even healthy change can create discomfort. Imagine a hanging mobile that's just hanging from the ceiling. When one piece moves, everything else shifts. Families are often like that. When one person changes, everyone is invited to change. And not everyone welcomes that invitation. Sometimes a person's growth challenges the beliefs that others have built their lives around. They've actually built their identity around those beliefs. So if you start a business, leave a relationship, move across the country, set a boundary, change careers, speak up, or just choose a different path than expected, you are upsetting their personal belief around who they are in relation to you. You may discover that the resistance you encounter has much less to do with you and much more to do with the anxiety your growth creates in others. This does not mean your family is bad, not at all. And it doesn't mean that you are right about everything. It simply means that love and control are not the same thing. Love allows. Control restricts. Love supports growth. Control fears change. Love respects individuality. Control demands conformity. Love says, I may not understand your path, but I respect your right to choose it. Control says, if you loved me, you would do what makes me comfortable. That distinction matters. And it matters a great deal because many adults are spending years trying to earn approval that may never come. They delay decisions, suppress dreams, silence their voice, ignore their intuition, not because they lack courage, but because they fear disappointing the people they love. And that fear can become a prison. One of the most liberating realizations in adulthood is understanding that you can love your family without surrendering yourself. You can honor your parents without obeying every single expectation. You can appreciate what others have done for you without allowing them to dictate your future. You can remain connected without becoming controlled. Healthy relationships require boundaries, not walls, not rejection, just boundaries. A boundary is simply a clear understanding of where you end and the other person begins. It allows both people to remain whole. And perhaps the most important question we can ask ourselves is this: am I making this choice because it is true for me, or because I am trying to avoid someone else's discomfort? That's not always an easy question to answer, but it is often an honest one. The truth is that every human being eventually faces a choice. Will I live according to my own deepest understanding? Or will I spend my life trying to meet expectations that were never truly mine to begin with? Freedom for yourself, carries responsibility. And one of those responsibilities is to ensure that you are learning to think for yourself. Not in rebellion, not in anger, not in rejection, but in conscious adulthood, with compassion, with courage, and with self-respect. Because the purpose of love is not ownership. The purpose of love is growth. This is Chantal. Thank you for joining me here on Natural Intelligence. And remember, think clearly, thrive deliberately, and live fully.